What a way to close out the year. Saskatchewan's housing market did not just finish strong in December, it finished historic. We are now officially coming off one of the strongest years this province has ever seen for real estate, and December confirmed that momentum is very real heading into 2026. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or relocating to Saskatoon or its surrounding area, this update matters more than most because it sets the tone for the year ahead. I'm Conor, Realtor with Betcher Real Estate Group. If you need an experienced team to help you navigate this market, my contact info is all in the description below. Now, let's break down exactly what happened in December. Let's start at the provincial level. Saskatchewan closed 2025 with the second highest annual home sales total on record. That alone is impressive, but what really stands out is how consistently strong demand has been. December recorded 792 sales across the province, which is nearly 3% higher than December of last year and well above the 10-year average for the month. That brings the total 2025 sales to 16,222 province-wide, edging out 2024 and cementing this year as one of the strongest we have ever seen. And here's the big headline. December marked the 30th consecutive month of above average sales in Saskatchewan. That level of consistency is extremely rare. It speaks to real demand, not speculation. Now, let's talk supply, because this is where the pressure continues to build. New listings in December were down 4% year over year and remained well below historical norms. Even with seasonal slowdowns helping a bit, inventory is still extremely tight. At year's end, Saskatchewan had just over 3,400 total listings, but 540 of those were conditionally sold and expected to come off the market. That leaves just almost 2,900 active homes available heading into January. To put that into perspective, inventory finished the year nearly 50% below the 10-year average. Benchmark pricing reflects exactly what you would expect in that environment. The provincial benchmark price came in at $359,000 in December. That is down slightly from November, obviously due to normal seasonal patterns, but still up 7% compared to December of last year. The takeaway provincially is clear. Demand is extremely strong, confidence remains high, inventory is the bottleneck, and unless supply meaningfully improves, that pressure continues into 2026. Now, let's zoom in onto Saskatoon, because this is where most of you might be watching from. Saskatoon had an outstanding December. The city recorded 270 home sales, which is a 6% increase year over year and nearly 24% above the 10-year average. That brings the total 2025 sales in Saskatoon to a little over 5,100, making this the second strongest year on record for the city. But here is the stat that really defines this market. Saskatoon remains the tightest market in the entire province. At year's end, there were 569 total listings. Of those, 130 were already conditionally sold, leaving just 439 truly active homes available heading into January. That translates to just over 2 months of supply, and that's including all the new builds that aren't finished yet. So actual inventory is probably quite a bit lower. So this is extremely tight for this time of year. Benchmark pricing came in at $417,700 in December. That is slightly lower than November's, which is completely normal seasonally, but still more than 6% higher than December of last year. So what does this tell us? Demand in Saskatoon has absolutely not cooled. It has simply been constrained by a lack of options. Buyers are still active, sellers still have leverage, and the market is entering 2026 from a position of strength, not a slowdown. Now, let's head just north of the city, starting with Warman. Warman had a very strong finish to the year. Sales jumped to 11 in December, which is a 120% increase compared to last December. New listings also increased to 17, and inventory rose to 61 units. That pushed months of supply up to 5.5, giving buyers slightly more breathing room compared to Saskatoon, but still well below historical norms. And again, prices continued to climb. Warman's residential benchmark price reached $487,000 in December, up 6.7% from last year. That confirms what we've been seeing all year. Warman remains one of the most stable and consistently growing markets in the region, driven by family buyers, relocation demand, and limited long-term supply. If you want a newer home, strong schools, and proximity to Saskatoon without being right in the city itself, Warman continues to perform extremely well. Lastly, Martensville saw just 4 sales in December, which is down year over year, but context matters here. There were only 6 new listings and just 11 homes on the market at December's end. That resulted in only 2.7 months of supply, which is still very much seller leaning. Even with lower sales volume, prices kept rising. The residential benchmark price in Martensville hit $412,300, which is up 4.1% year over year. This is a classic inventory-driven market. Demand has not disappeared. Buyers simply had very little to choose from. Martensville tends to see sharp bursts of activity when listings hit, and given how little inventory is rolling into the new year, well-priced homes are more than likely to move quickly once spring approaches. So let's put all of this together as we head into 2026. For buyers, inventory remains extremely tight across Saskatchewan, especially in Saskatoon and Martensville. Prices continue to rise year over year. Waiting for a major pullback has not worked, and the biggest risk in 2026 may simply be fewer options, which will cause prices to rise. The upside is that winter and early spring still offer the best chance at less competition if you are prepared. For sellers, this is not a typical winter market. Demand stayed strong right through December. Yeah, we got a little bit of a taper off right around Christmas, but strong nonetheless. Inventory is historically low, well-prepared homes are still commanding attention, and heading into the spring market with a plan puts you in a very strong position. And for any relocation buyers, Saskatchewan continues to stand out nationally for affordability, stability, and long-term fundamentals. The numbers continue to back that up. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, or relocating to Saskatoon, Warman, or Martensville in 2026, this is the time to get ahead of the market, not react to it. You can always reach out to me anytime. I'm always happy to walk through the data and help you make sense of what it means for your specific situation. Once again, I'm Conor Palendat. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you do not miss out on next month's update. Thanks for watching, and I hope 2026 is the best year yet.